Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at my homemade box set because quite frankly, I just don't have $500 to blow on a original collector's edition. So instead, I just took a few hours of my own life and poured it into this because I loved the original D&D. It's where I started, and somehow it's always where I wind up going back to. So, as you can see, I bought this splendid wooden box with a lock, which I don't keep locked, but nice cover. Okay, and it starts with a miniaturized version of the original Holmes Blue Book because, quite frankly, it really is the best place to start. But it contains everything you need to play. That includes, of course, 2 complete dice sets, including extra 6s, because there's never enough 6-sideds. It also includes a couple of pencils, the keys. The pencils. Somebody's been in my box. The pencils are gone, so I'll toss a couple more pencils in there. Anyway, let's see what we got here. We've got a miniature Dungeon Master screen using the original first edition artwork. We've got the reference sheets, because quite frankly, you cannot play this game without the reference sheets. You've got books 1 through 3. This was better organized at some point. Guess I'm kind of giving you some spoilers here. But these were handmade. Obviously, I printed them up myself. I also included, here's book 2 and book 3. Book 2 and book 3. I did use the Wizards of the Coast reprints because I was able to buy them legally. And quite frankly, they're much better quality than any of the original edition prints that I was able to find. I am considering changing out the covers to make them look more like the original, but as you can see, the quality here is extraordinary. These things really came out beautifully. What else do we have here? We have all of the supplements. So that would include book 4, Greyhawk, which is here. It would also include books 5 and book 6, which would be, oh wow, I forgot I even had that. Anyway, book 6, Eldritch Wizardry, and book 5, Blackmore, of course. It also includes the original chainmail rules, because quite frankly, you cannot play this game without chainmail. I do have a purchased version of that too, although I'm not sure that's where that particular PDF came from. Quite frankly, I really wanted the classic cover on that, and I found a better, it was more printable using the PDF, using the booklet function, so I just used the one I had that was good for that. It also includes, if you'll recall, the original Holmes edition also included a module. So I included the original starting module, B1, In Search of the Unknown. And I also included B2, because quite frankly, they were both excellent modules. This one's actually a little better as a starting module because it includes a starting village. So if you're playing Dungeons & Dragons for the first time, it really is better to start there than it is with In Search of the Unknown, because it doesn't just throw players into a dungeon and not give them a place to buy food and oil and things like that. Resource management is very important in the original D&D, and if people don't have a place to buy resources, they're not going to fare well. It also includes swords and spells. After chainmail, swords and spells became the kind of mass combat system for Dungeons & Dragons, and it does work quite splendidly. I had to make my own cover for this one because, well, quite frankly, I just couldn't find a usable version of the original cover, so I just printed this one up all by myself. Now, it also includes some goodies that were not included in the original set. It includes this little handy-dandy booklet of Dungeons and Dragons character sheets. These were the same character sheets that were included, that were printed for the original game. I don't know if y'all even remember this far back. They're obviously smaller and they're printed on cardstock because I want them to be durable and usable and playable. And obviously they're not stapled because I want them to be pull out. It also includes a Dungeon Master's graph pad because you have to have a Dungeon Master's graph pad, which I've also included. If you look here, some of the original tables that were used to create dungeons back in the original Dungeons and Dragons days. It also includes the treasure selection that was published for Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. There was an old Monsters and Treasures kind of supplement they had. And lastly, it includes a mapping booklet, lots of hex pads, lots of graph pads, just things you need to play the game. Yes, they are very small. And that is my handmade, custom Dungeons and Dragons box set, which I wish to store with my Holmes book on top, because quite frankly, like I said before, if you're starting to play Dungeons and Dragons for the first time, the Holmes booklet is where you're always going to want to start. So we're just going to go ahead and plop that on top. And that is my original Dungeons and Dragons box set, which is not original, nor the official box set, but I love it. And I had some flair cranked out for the cover because I don't want to have just a paper cover. So I created some little paper flanges to go around the outside. I didn't like the way it looked. So I'm going all out and I'm going to unpack my old 3D printer, and I've made a 3D model that I'm going to use to kind of frame the paper in the middle. And that's it. And I guess that's all there is to say.